Welcome back to Slide Scholar. In the previous video, we discussed whether the hate for the Lilo and Stitch remake was justified or overblown. In conclusion, I said that it was due to how people are getting treated over their opinions on the film. In this video, we're shifting away from Disney and instead heading to Sega. The topic is Does Sonic lack uniqueness? This is based on a comment thread that will be shown in this very video. Sonic the Hedgehog has remained one of the most popular video game franchises since its creation in 1991. Since then, more and more fans have fallen in love with the series, especially since it was adapted to a movie in 2020. However, some fans are nostalgic for older, more memorable portrayals of Sonic. There are many who feel that Sonic is no longer the Sonic he once was. In today's presentation, we will analyze the comment threads on this matter and answer some questions to clear up any misunderstandings. The comment thread in question comes from a video by Channel Pop titled Sonic 3 movie trailer looks amazing, but in the video, he reviews the original Sonic 3 movie trailer that released on the 27th of August last year, saying that it was great, but that it has some issues, such as Amy not appearing, but as you know by now, she appeared in the post-credits scene, setting up the stage for Sonic 4 in 2027. Most of the comments seem to be either positive or mixed, depending on how most people feel. However, a comment left by user Joker5208 may provide some clarification, stating bluntly that from what he has seen, the film's direction is unclear and he has no interest in it. Xenoverse responded to this comment by saying, "If it doesn't interest you, don't watch it." But Joker5208 was forthright in arguing that even if you're not interested in the film as a whole, that doesn't mean you don't have the right to form an opinion about what you've seen. Xenoverse passive-aggressively states that despite their concerns, they were going to see the movie anyway. Nine days later, Guy Who Likes Animations 1018 replied to Joker5208, saying that there were differing views. Well, in his case, different takes. Xenoverse agreed. Xenoverse goes on to explain the differences between movie shadow and game shadow, stating that the name TV Sonic is kinda cool in the game and story, and was essential for it to be in the movie as it would be faithful to the original. However, Joker5208 argues that even if the interpretation is different, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good interpretation. They use the extreme example of Sonic being a cannibal to show how far-reaching the changes can be. He further argues that even if something is faithful to the source material, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good creative choice in terms of adaptation. You're probably thinking, this guy is literally trashing Sonic because of a trailer he didn't like. Calm down. But don't worry, it will make sense in a moment. Xenoverse makes it clear that the different interpretations are just different angles on the characters' personalities, and not change the franchise to make it different. Joker 5208 doesn't want to be seen as a Sonic hater, so he makes his position clear. First, he says he's not against changes to the Sonic series, emphasizing that the changes are meaningful and not an end in themselves. And second, he points out that what he doesn't like about the recent remakes or recent adaptations is that they lost the uniqueness that made Sonic so appealing in the first place. In his opinion, such adaptations either prioritize a modern script or rewrite parts of the original work, which is why he says they're not for him. Now that we've looked through the comment thread, let's answer some of the questions you may have. 1. What does Joker 5208 mean when he talks about uniqueness? For Joker 5208, uniqueness is a combination of character traits, relationships, tone, story, and style that set Sonic apart from other franchises, and he feels that recent remakes have replaced that uniqueness with more generic or watered down versions that have lost what made Sonic so special. 2. Is he really against change? No. Joker 5208 is not against changes. He clarifies that he is okay with meaningful changes that improve the story or characters. What he takes issue with most are changes that are superficial, unnecessary, or that dilute Sonic's original personality. In other words, it's not the changes themselves that he's against, but changes that are poorly executed or off target. What he cares about is maintaining Sonic's core identity and uniqueness, changes that enhance and deepen the series, avoiding trite or diluted additions to the characters or world. So overall, Joker 5208 supports adapting and evolving, but he wants it to be done thoughtfully and respectfully, not just for the sake of novelty or trend chasing. Three. Is he stating an objective truth? No. Joker 5208 was not stating an objective truth. He was stating a subjective opinion based on his personal preferences and perspective on the Sonic series. Why? His criticisms of what made Sonic unique or what is a good interpretation of the character are value judgments and reflect his preferences, not universal facts. Words like watered down, boring, and lost its originality are inherently subjective, as different fans have different views of what works and what doesn't. Even his analogy of Team Sonic being unnecessary is an opinion, as some see it as an important or even exciting element of the story. So, how does this apply to Sonic the Hedgehog 3? Making Shadow comedic, making Shadow more powerful than Sonic, and portraying TV Sonic as a bunch of run-of-the-mill superheroes didn't feel like meaningful changes to him and didn't advance the film. He felt that these changes took away from the unique personality Sonic once had and weakened him. It seemed like a safe bet rather than maintaining what made Sonic different from other franchises. Joker's 5208 comment that the creators are not interested in Sonic's core design does not seem to be intended as a personal insult to the creators themselves, just in case. Rather, it is more of a criticism of the creative direction and decisions of recent Sonic titles. What he means that, in essence, the creators of these titles seem more interested in modernizing Sonic than preserving what made it special. This speaks to the feelings of fans who feel alienated by the current state of the franchise. But, objectively, has Sonic really lost its uniqueness? My answer? No, not necessarily. Everyone has Everyone has a different way of interacting with media. That's why some people say that one character is their favorite, while others say that they hate another. This is completely normal. For example, in Joker 508's case, the way he interacts with the series reflects what he found appealing when he first encountered it. If that is lost or diluted, it becomes difficult for him to immerse himself in that charm. So, when he says it lacks uniqueness, he doesn't mean objectively, but rather that the uniqueness he likes is not represented in these adaptations, including the movie version. The saying goes, what makes a good adaptation? Joker 5208 doesn't think the film needs the term Team Sonic, but some would argue that it should stay true to the world of the game. His uniqueness doesn't include the Team Sonic moniker, because he doesn't think Team Sonic represents Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. It's all subjective. Sega executives don't ask him for creative input. He only pursues what he likes about the series, not what he doesn't like. You may be asking, well, why did he watch the Sonic 3 trailer? It's because he still cares about the series. He wants it to succeed, and he wants it to get better. He called the movie a shit sandwich because Xenophobia ignored his criticism. He was essentially told shut up, so he claimed he had the right to voice his opinion. So don't worry, none of what Joker 508 was saying is meant to be treated as facts. They're his personal opinions on the franchise. If you disagree with him, that's fine. But the bottom line is, we need to understand why someone like him feels this way. They don't want to tear down the franchise. They want to get better, but not at the cost of what made it special. In the next video, we'll also explore another common thread, but just a pre-warning, it may contain some content that may not be suitable for younger viewers. You have been warned. This was Slice Scholar. Till next time.